What's good, YouTube? So today we are going to cover a quick overview and review of the dollar index, EurUsd and the pound dollar. As we were bullish on the dollar index, we were bearish on the EurUsd and bearish on the pound dollar. Now, as we can see, this is the daily chart of the DXY. As we recall from a couple of weeks ago, the first week of July and the second week of July, we're talking about the support and quarterly shift of the dollar index that we're going to see to the upside. And we can see here is our daily fair value gap, the monthly volume imbalance. We had consequent encroachments of the daily fair value gap, consequent encroachments with the bodies on the volume imbalance, and we went up. We had an inversion fair value gap, a fair value gap that we filled, and it turned into an inversion fair value gap, showed support. And then the volume, the weekly volume imbalance that we closed above, showed as support also on the 8th of July, Tuesday. And as you can see, we had a weekly fair value gap that we traded into and we balanced. And we had a closing on Friday above our weekly fair value gap. And an immediate rebalance entry that came in this week, as well as a volume imbalance that we had on the opening of the week, right? And we can see how price traded all the way up into our daily volume imbalance. These are the targets we're talking about from the beginning of the month, our inefficiency, daily inefficiency, and we're still heading up to our equal high buy side liquidity and our implied fair value gap right above, playing into our quarterly shift. And our longer targets are this bearish bull flag, buy side liquidity right here, and our monthly fair value gap. But those are our longer targets. And you can see what happened on the, let's go to the 4 hourly charts. This was Monday, right? And this was last week Thursday. You can see the strong move we had above after balancing our fair value gap, and we encroached 50% of that weekly fair value gap. Consequent encroachments, raised up, we came back down, mitigation block came. This is our daily immediate rebalance level that we traded into on Monday, and it was a form of support. And right here, it's where we could have been looking for entries on Monday during the London session. And you can see here, this was CPI that we had, the dollar CPI that we had yesterday, and our daily volume imbalance that we created from the week opening. We traded that as support to go up into our daily volume imbalance that we balanced, and going into our targets, buy side liquidity targets. Should we look at the hourly? And there you can see right there, this is where we had our CPI release, right there and right there. This is South African times, just so you guys are not so confused. But right here we had supports, and right here again support here during the New York session in the immediate rebalance, and during the London right here. Right here is where we could have been looking for entries. Looking for entries after CPI release to avoid risk. And yes, there was our consequent encroachments of the weekly inversion fair value gap that we had on Friday. We had a support here on the 8th of July, Tuesday, on the weekly volume imbalance that we balanced. Right here was support. And yes, these are the other levels we talked about the first week of July. Continuing into our bullish bias of the dollar that we have for the month of July. Now let's look at the EurUsd. How was the EurUsd playing out? Let's start off with the daily. You can see we had a bearish bias, and we still have a bearish bias on the EurUsd. This was our level that we've been looking at, the fair value, the weekly fair value gap, right? How we traded into it, we balanced it. We traded also into the order block, and we created a daily order block that we traded into. This was during Monday, NFP, the first week of July. Look at the consequent encroachments, the bodies respecting it of the weekly fair value gap. We traded down into our volume weekly imbalanced, and that was treated as now as resistance. Look at how the bodies respected the consequent encroachments of this volume imbalance to show us the bearish momentum that we were gaining to the downside. See right here, this is consequent encroachments of this volume imbalance. We balanced it as we were trading in. Look at the body, and we dropped. And we created an order block here, daily order block, that we traded into Friday. Orders were put in and mitigation has happening. And the Friday closed right here. And we opened Monday with a gap, a volume imbalance. And we traded right into it up here on Monday. We balanced it. Tuesday, traded up into it, balancing again, collecting orders, and this was the CPI release. And in that process, we were balancing this weekly volume, the weekly fair value gap. That was our bias, and also our daily fair value gap. Right now, we have a mitigation block that we're approaching. Might see some resistance, but our target is still the daily fair value gap and the equal buy side liquidity down here from the 23rd of June, and as well as our south side, last week's the low of the month last month on the June, and we have our implied fair value gap as well. So we can also check now on the 4-hourly charts, and we can see there's orders collected, orders, smart money putting positions. They're on the daily order block. See consequence encroachments of that fair value gap. We dropped, we came back down, up on that Tuesday on that order block, position hold, and that was a good position to put in. And also we had inversion fair value gap daily here that we had. This was confluences for us to enter here on that Tuesday, and we dropped, raised up, we dropped, and it was that order block. If you can see the 4-hour orderly block, we just came in here to get more positions and it went down. And this is our daily order block. We had you on Friday, we traded into it and we went down. New week, we're balancing the volume imbalance that was created for the week. As we balanced, we dropped after the CPI release, balancing this weekly inefficiency. Now we could trade up, consequent encroachments of this weekly fair value gap, and trade down, but one would have to see how we close for this week to really be saying what could happen and what could not happen. But our targets are still remaining over here for the equal lows, south side liquidity created during the 23rd of June last month. And that's just a quick overview of the euro dollar, and we can quickly look at the pound dollar. When dollar is bullish, then the British pound and the euro dollar will be bearish. We can see here, this is our quarterly shift. We had displacement down and a market shift. After taking buy side, we traded into our daily fair value gap. We created a volume imbalance the beginning of the week here on the 7th of July. We traded up here, resistance, we traded down, and we traded into our fair value gap, balanced it. We had a little bit of resistance here of this high resistance area, so you can see here we had up and down movements. It didn't just breeze down quick as yet, so we were having that small amount of time where we were bouncing up and down with that resistance, and eventually we broke down and we closed above our fair value gap, which showed us strong bearish momentum, and we had going down also to the 23rd of June lows, target area south side liquidity. The pound dollar was more quicker than the euro dollar, showing relative strength, and we also have this potential sell side. This is a longer term objective, but yes, we're looking for this sell side to be taken out, and then we'll proceed further after that, seeing how our weekly candle closes to see how everything goes in that. So yes, that was just a quick overview of the dollar index, EurUsd, pound dollar, and I hope that was of some help. Quick insights on what I'm seeing, and if you guys liked the video, do subscribe, comment, like, and expect more videos from me, and hope you guys have good trading. Thank you.